Hey, it's Keith from Outlaw Speed Shop, and in this episode, I'm going to take this Hot Wheels Nomad and make it kind of tough and mean looking.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, so step one is break out the coping saw, jeweler's saw, whatever you want to call it, and the handy dandy beeswax, because that makes breaking these a lot easier. No, it helps quite a bit. So I cut the hood off, and actually the whole nose. And I wanted to go something, I really wanted to go extreme on this. I got these engines from Radio Flyer, and this was like perfect timing. I was in the middle of this project when he had sent him for something else, and he gave me enough where I could play around, so kudos to him. So this project was more one of those fun projects, and I don't know when you're watching this, but I already have another very recent Nomad video that I did. I made a post-apocalyptic one of one that already had no front end on it. And after I had started building, I'm like, man, I'm going to do another one, but I wanted to do it non-post-apocalyptic. So obviously, like every one of my builds, I can't leave well enough alone. I just start cutting stuff up to see how it's going to fit. There's no plan. I have really no clue how things are going to fit until I start cutting. You can see I started radiusing the wheel wells in the back, and I'm trying to get the interior to fit to accept the fact that this is going to be, everything's sitting a lot lower. Using Scotch-Brite to scuff this up and getting all the cool stuff off to a degree. I paint it black. Now I want the roof to be white, so I'm going to mask off. When I say paint, that's primer. That's black primer. It's the Mr. Surfacer, and really, honestly, if you ever want to paint something black, just prime it black and then clear coat over it if you want a shiny look to it. So it works just fine. And not doing that on this particular one, but regardless, this is a little helpful hint. Same thing with white primer on anything, and then clear coat over it. You know, unless you're going for a pearl or a metallic, if you're just looking for a plain white or a plain black, it works fine. Because if you screw up, you can wet sand it or sand it down, put another coat of black on it or white or whatever color. A gray, if you want battleship gray style. Works fine. I've never had anything come about as a problem from painting. So I'm going to paint the engine. I'm using, again, beating a dead horse here, but the Army Painter stuff, the war paints, really love it. And everything goes on so smoothly. And I'm just going to get all my paint set up. And then, this is supposed to be the relaxing part of a job or a custom. It's not really a job. I wish it was. And, it helps you with your dexterity, especially as you get older, like I'm getting up there myself. And, it makes you focus for a little while. And I like that because this is the part where, you're just painting, but you're not thinking about anything else. You're just thinking about painting. You're not thinking about what you have to do at work tomorrow, or if you're an old retired guy like Jim Silva, which blade of grass you're going to cut, that type of thing. But it's just a way to unwind and not have to worry about anything. And that's, to me, the best part of a custom is the detail painting. I'm not that great at it, but I enjoy it. And it's a good release, and any anger or anything I have during the course of a day kind of disappears. So to me, it's one of the better parts of building customs. And here I'm just using a bunch of different paints. I'm using like a light gray, which is more of an aluminum color, just playing around with different things. This motor painted up nice. Everything, the detail was amazing on it. So it was real easy to paint and make it look kind of cool. So, these types of things, you don't need a 3D motor. If you watch a lot of my builds, I'll just use whatever motor I happen to have kicking around that fits. And here I'm using the rubber paint from Tamiya, or the rubber look paint, and I'm doing the fan belt with that. So that gives it kind of I don't know how they do it, but it definitely has that rubbery look to it when it dries. So you don't need much, obviously. But painting, to me, like I said, it's fun. And it's one of those things. Whether you're just using Tester's paint or any whatever your favorite paint brand. I use Citadel a lot, and probably the first 3 years that I was doing this. Then as things started to dry up a little bit, the containers, I switched to the Army Painter because I wasn't working out of a tub of paint. So with the lids and everything, it just keeps everything nice and secure, and I keep my paints a lot longer and keep them fresh a lot longer. And here I'm just using different chrome pens, and I have thin, thick, medium, just to get in certain areas that I wouldn't be able to get with, like this one's the thin. It's all different. So go back, I touch things up. That's the great part about painting. If you screw up, you can paint over, Sometimes I end up shaking a little too much, or I'm moving around and I'm not paying attention where shit is, and my paintbrush with paint on it touches another part. Here's the panel liner. I've been using that a lot to get the recesses in, and it's easily wipeable. So if you screw up and you get it somewhere, just use a Q-tip and it wipes right off, and it gives a nice black recesses that give you a little bit of depth and just kind of make your stuff pop a little bit. It's not much different than like an oil stain wash. Here I'm using the fatter chrome for the bumpers, and I could have just masked those off because I painted the base, the flat black or the primer black, but I just didn't. I think sometimes the chrome that comes from the factory or from Mattel, it's too chromy, it's too plastic. Chromy, that's an official word. So, I just sometimes I'll paint it, and usually having black as the base coat works good. I mean, you can go with spastic and paint it the gloss black and then mist it with chrome. I've done that in the past. But for quick projects like this, and all this was a quickie project. It was a fun project, and I just felt that it was just easier for me. And I usually try to take the path of least resistance when it comes to doing customs, to just paint it black and then go back over with the chrome and do, just make it stand out a little bit. So everybody has their own. That's what's great about customizing too, is everybody has their own way of doing things, and there's no right, there's no wrong. Nobody has a right to say anything about anybody's customs, to criticize, because everybody has different levels, and we all start somewhere. I've been stuck in the same spot for years. So again, it doesn't really matter. So after painting this black, what I wanted to do is use some sandpaper. I get some rough and some little finer different grit sandpapers, and I'm just going to go around, and because I didn't strip this down to bare metal, it's got the original blue underneath it. So this is just going to bring out certain areas, so when I add any kind of like a rust effect. So the purpose of this build, to be clear, was to really have a weathered look. Like, I got a brand new chassis, pro touring chassis, but I happen to have the body of a Nomad kicking around in the junkyard that I found. I'm just going to stick on this chassis because it looks cool. That's kind of what I was going for. You can be the judge of whether I accomplish that or not. So here you can see I'm just using the different sandpapers, or sanding sponges in this case, to just really bring out the different details and areas of wear, I guess you could say. And again, this is your own interpretation. I'm just kind of going until I think it looks cool enough to start going and adding a little bit of rust effects to it. And again, war paints, you got fresh rust, dark rust, rust tone, wet mud. All those are great paints. I find that they work better on a darker base, but you can do what you want, and dry brush. So I'm using the dark rust first as a base, and just build it up slowly. Don't put it all, don't blow your load all in one place. unless you're that guy. But, just a little bit at a time, and you'll start to see it come to life, and you'll know when enough is enough. And some areas you may want more, some areas you may want less. I'm just using a crappy brush that I got from Michael's. I had a whole kit of those that came in a bag, and I use them for dry brushes. It's like $2 for a bag of brushes, and you can use them forever. So that's all I'm doing. Obviously, like the roof would have more surface area of a patina to it, so that's kind of where I'm heading there. Then on the sides, I'm just doing a little bit and building up maybe like the lower areas or areas where rain would pool on, a 55, which is primarily the wheel wells. In this case, there's no front, but it would be like the headlight buckets if it was a full-bodied car. The bottom rockers, bottoms of the doors, the tops where the rain would drip off the roof onto where the door handles would be. All that area. I'm just building that up little by little, and just kind of stepping back and setting it, 3 feet from me, so I see what it looks like from afar. Because sometimes when you're looking at something up close, it tends to mute what it is you're trying to do, and you can either go too far or not far enough. So every once in a while, I just step back and take a look at it from a distance. And then after the dark rust, I'll apply the light rust. And light rust is more orangey, and it tends to be the spots that, not all rust is the same. There are different, fresh rust, old rust, new rust, all that kind of stuff makes a difference insofar as, it's not like rust just happens all at once. So, again, you can build this up slowly as well. Make sure you use, a dry brush effect, and really make sure your brush is clean. So it will look very orangey at first, but it dries excellent onto the dark rust and absorbs in. So it gives you that spotty look of, rust upon rust, or, something that's recently starting to rust around areas that already rusted. So, again, it's all objective. Play around, use an old casting, paint it black, and just putz with it, and you'll find what works for you. And there's no right or wrong. Anybody tells you that's full of crap. So, there's what looks good to you, and the only way you're going to learn that is by doing it yourself. You could watch me all day long, and as much as I would appreciate it, you're not going to learn anything. So you gotta go out and try it yourself. So, but anyways, that was the process: dark rust, then light rust, and if you wanted, you can add some rust tone to it. But this is the finished product, and I added a moon tank on the front. Again, I didn't plumb it or anything like that, but you can kind of see what I was after, the look I was going for. It's kind of a gritty, in-your-face, low stance, rat rod 55 Nomad. So, again, hopefully you got something out of this, and that's the whole goal for me, is for everybody to, get some ideas and some inspiration. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.